today we are going to be looking at layer styles, and you should have this document open from Google Classroom and also this basketball cutout. Okay, so layer styles are just extra features that you can add to a layer. You can do this, a lot of times we use it with text layers, but you can also use it with photos, which is why we are going to be dragging in this image of Josie Cosnetti, who graduated a few years ago. Okay, so to start, what I want you to do is get a text tool, pick a font of your choice. I do not care what. Color, though, I do want you to pick just a black for now. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in my first and last name. And I'm going to make that bigger so that it fits in. I'm going to put it about right there. Okay. I'm going to duplicate this layers on all of the white boxes. Remember right here, we're going to want to, we can duplicate the layer, but we're going to want to make sure it's white text so that it'll show. Alright, so I'm going to get my move tool, I'm going to press and hold Alt, clicking on my text layer, I'm going to just, with Alt, that's my layer duplication tool, I'm just going to drag that out to all of the white boxes really quick. Does not have to be perfect. Drag that out. Okay. Now I'm actually going to drag it out again to this black layer, and whatever layer you just made a copy of, that would be the one that's sitting right here in Outer Glow. It's going to be the one highlighted. So I'm going to get my text tool, T, push T, click in here, Control A to select all of that text. Change my font color to white. Push Enter. The Enter in the num lock, not the Enter that's in the main part of your keyboard. Get my Move tool back, press and hold Alt, and drag it out to the other two layers. Okay. Now I'm going to come out here to the basketball cutout with my Move tool selected. I'm going to drag and drop that into this layer style template. Okay. So I'm going to click on the image of Josie, drag up to this tab, drag down, and drop. So she's huge right now, so I want to resize her and make her mini. So I'm going to Control T and press and hold the Shift so that we don't make her flat Stanley or something. I'm just going to make her small to fit within each one of these boxes. So something like this, press and Enter. Now I'm going to Alt and same thing. Just duplicate her a ton of times. Does not have to be perfect. And put her in all these boxes. Okay. So now we have our name in all these boxes and an image in all of these boxes. And so what you're going to be doing today is just using this template. I want you to compare what each one of these layer styles do. Okay, so I'm going to, with my Move tool selected, click on this first one of my name so that it finds it over here in my layer panel. If you're clicking and it's not picking up whatever layer you're clicking on, so see how it's jumping around on my layers panel, make sure that auto select is checked. Okay, so to insert a layer style, you are going to right click. Going to right click. Sorry, I had some issues with my recording. You're going to right click and say Blending Options. That's going to bring up this Layer Style dialog box, and you're going to just select exactly what the box is telling you to do. So you're going to go to Drop Shadow and click the check mark next to it, select it so you can get to your options, and mess with this a little bit. Try to pick a consistent color so you can really see what's happening with it. So the drop shadow, whatever color is being selected right here, that's the drop shadow that's going to happen on this layer style. Okay, opacity, that just means how see-through, how transparent the layer might be. So the higher that number is, the more solid it is. The less that, number is, the more transparent it is. Okay, you can actually on drop shadows pick this up and move it out. And you'll see over here it changes the angle and distance for you, so you can play with that a little bit and really see it. Size is, of course, going to be how big that shadow is spread, is based on the size, how spread out that shadow is going to be. We'll play with contours at a later time, but really I want you to be looking at the structure of it and play with that. And you'll say OK. Then you're going to click on the corresponding photo to select it over here in your layer panel. And so the first time I showed you right click blending options. You can also do this by, don't click on the text, but coming over here to the side, double clicking. It's going to also bring up your layer style dialog box. So I'm going to select drop shadow. And I want to stick with a consistent color again, just so I can truly see what the same color on different texts and different layer styles looks like. Same thing, I can drag her shadow out a little bit. And so what's happening here, do you see how my other layer is moving? Okay, that is because this checkbox, use global light, is selected. If I deselect that, then it's going to be independent from whatever else is happening here. So what global light does is it's like as if an actual light was shining on this document and creating a shadow effect. It's going to allow you to create a consistent look with your image. So global light does have a benefit. For this project, it doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to note that difference on that checkbox. Okay. It's going to, so the drop shadows, whatever was the last used setting, that's what it's going to stick with. So like the opacity, the text, we use 63%. Now for the image, it's going to keep that there for you. So again, you create a consistently cohesive image. Okay. So you're going to go through and do this with all of these images. Clicking once on the layer, double clicking, going and finding whatever the layer style that I want you to play with is. So outer glow, playing with what that might look like. You may play with the blending modes a little bit to kind of see what that looks like. Okay, so outer glow, opacity, just play with this a little bit. All right, your final image should look something like this. Okay. Of course, we didn't do it with images last time, but this is something like what your overall image should end up looking like, where you can see the differences between everything. Okay? You need to turn this in on Classroom when you're finished. Just the JPEG version is fine, or the PSD version, you don't need to turn in the JPEG to. Just a PSD version of this is fine to turn into Classroom.